that's the place where you're going to learn, not just about yourself as an actor, but about yourself as a person. So I want the ideal for me is that I will, spend the next few years just, building up as diverse a body of work as I possibly can. I want to do stage, I want to do film, I want to do TV because it's so quick. And also the series you do, there shouldn't be, I think there was a time, maybe 10 or 20 years ago, when it really was a status thing. If you're a film actor, you're a film actor. If you're a theatre actor, you're a theatre actor. If you're a TV actor, you're a TV actor. And there was nothing, there weren't really any lines being crossed, it was, and I think there is still today a certain snobbery from film actors about doing TV and I think that's ridiculous. I mean, if you close yourself off entirely to one medium, you close yourself off to so many brilliant parts and exciting opportunities, and I don't quite understand why people do that. So no, I don't really have a preference. I suppose, film is a very nostalgic, very romantic place for me because it's where I've grown up and it's my childhood, and I love the industry and I love being on set and I love the whole process of making a film. So I suppose if I did have to pick, it would be film, but I don't think that there's going to be my career is not going to just be about one thing or about one medium. I want it to be as varied as possible.
Thank you.
Next question, what's your name?
Hi, this is Michaela David, and I was wondering how you choose the type of scripts to look at and what movies you finally decide to do.
I think, to be honest, I trust my instincts and I trust that I have good taste. And when I was reading this script, you read a lot of really bad scripts. So when a good one comes along, you know it. And because of the style of the writing and because of the part, it basically comes down to the part, the overall quality of the script, and the director. And if those three things are all interesting and exciting, then the chances are I will want to be involved. I mean, I read this script, I think 4 hours after finishing our last shot on number 7, and I read it about 4 hours later, and I was reading it on the plane, going, oh my God, this is scaring me. I'm just reading this, and this is frightening. So chances are, if we make a film of it, it will really scare people. So it was just, generally speaking, when you read a script, you just know if it's something you want to be involved in or not. And then when you meet the director and find out what his vision for the film is, and if that kind of tallies with your own, then full steam ahead.
Next question, what's your name?
Hi, I'm Emily Mag, and before I ask my question, I want to say thank you for everything, my childhood. So, thanks for that. You worked with your godson Micah on this. He played your son. Can you describe that for me, the experience?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, his name is, not to correct you, but his name's Misha.
Sorry.
But he was the son of the woman who directed Equus. And I first met him when I first met her, which was when he was about 3 months old and we were having our first meeting about the play. He then sat in rehearsals, quiet as a mouse, for the entire rehearsal run in London when I was 17. And then when we did the show again in New York, by that point he was just coming up around 3 years old. So I would go over and babysit for him, and we got on very, very well, and he's an adorable, very, very funny, ridiculously smart kid. And when it came to doing this film, I knew that people have been watching me in a schoolboy outfit for 10 years, so it's a little bit of a jump for them to then see me as a young lawyer and a father. And one of the things that I think could unhelpfully highlight the fact that I'm not actually a father in real life is when you've got, a kid, particularly a kid as young as Misha, 4 or 5, that was the age range that we were casting the part for. Acting doesn't really come into it. At that young, you've kind of just got to have a real relationship with the boy. And while that is possible to have with a kid I just met, I know that me and Misha have a chemistry, and that, he would be able to be natural around me, and that there would be a level of comfort with him because I know him well. So it just, and he auditioned and was really, really good, and actually was really good in the film. I think when we were filming, I was so concerned as to whether, he was having a nice time, or whether he wasn't too tired or was getting angry, or, I was just so worried about him and his experience of it that I didn't actually stop and look and go, oh, you're actually really good at this. But he's turned out great in the film, and he's very, very sweet. And for a film which has very few moments, he provides the only ones.
Next question, what's your name?
Hi, I'm Megan Chips. I was wondering what major mental and physical preparation you have to do for your role in The Woman in Black.
In terms of, physical preparation, there was not a huge amount. Really, I would, apart from what I mentioned earlier about kind of trying to quash my own natural energy, which has an effect on the physicality of the character, there wasn't any sort of training or anything that I had to do for this film. The only thing that was physically very challenging was there's a scene towards the end of the film, which I'll try not to give too much away, but I am having to recover something from muddy marshland, which during the filming of it meant I was in a 5-foot deep tank of very, very cold mud for about 2 days, which is right up there with Quidditch in terms of how much I enjoyed it. It was, that was a relatively hard thing, just to try and keep your focus and not just be shivering all the time. In terms of the mental side of things, it was just about really trying to understand the character, understand where we find him in his life, which is at a moment of total emotional paralysis, and trying to, really kind of get in his head and see. And he's an interesting character because at the beginning of the film, he's very, very passive. And as the film goes on, he is forced by circumstance to become more and more a participant in his own life again. There was a little bit of preparation, but it was mainly about just trying to really get an understanding of the character. I visited a bereavement counsellor as well, just to talk about, how the death of a loved one so young affects a young man, because I fortunately, touch wood, do not have an understanding of that. So I visited a bereavement counsellor, and then it was just really a matter of kind of trying to find him.
Next question, right over here. What's your name?
Hi, I'm Madeline Wright. I was wondering, after playing the character of Harry Potter for so long, which was obviously a role that took a lot of your personal life and your life as an actor, do you ever regret taking on such a dominating role?
No, not at all. Because if I hadn't done that, there's no way I would be getting the kind of opportunities I'm getting now. It's always going to be a double-edged sword when you're in something that successful so young, and you just have to kind of try and take it in stride and go, well, that's it. I'm never going to be in something as commercially successful as Potter, and I am fine with that. I'm in a position where I'm very lucky. I've done very, very well for Potter. I've got all these opportunities in front of me, and I can now afford to just pick interesting parts and do things that interest me. It's a real luxury.